Da na 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 na. Yeah, it's Cinco de Mayo, and I was terrible at that. Anyways, so we put out, for our knife community, we put out just a fun Cinco de Mayo challenge of doing 5 on 5. So we're going to cover my top 5 favorite, my top 5 least favorite, and then my largest top 5 and my smallest top 5. So, just a little fun factoid Friday fandom, whatever you want to call it. Cinco de Mayo is the celebration. It's supposed to be a Mexican celebration. Not for their Independence Day. Mexico's Independence Day is actually September 16th. So, boom, drop on that one, right? No, May 5th, from way back in 1862, there was a battle of See, I'm not Mexican. Battle of Pueblo. Against France. So Mexicans and the French had a big old battle way back in 1862 on May 5th. Mexicans won. They won. It was a dispute over money owed to France and I think England and Spain and whomever. But Mexico didn't want to pay up. No pesos for you. So yeah, they had France fought them and lost. And it was a victory day for Mexico, so they were like, let's mark this in the history books as a day for us. It was a good day for us. And sadly, Americans care more about this holiday than Mexicans do. What do you know, right? We're some selfish SOBs, right? No, I mean, like, we Americans use anything for an excuse to party, right? Why not, right? We love to party. So, yeah, Cinco de Mayo. We're throwing parties. And bust out the tequila, grab your chips and salsa, wear your sombreros. Alright, we're going off on the tangent here. Let's get into some knives, right? Let's do the knives. Okay, so obviously, my most expensive knife that I own in my collection thus far is the Spartan Harsey with the beautiful Viking etching on the handle. Lovely, lovely knife. Glorious knife. One of my most expensive, and only partially because of that is it in my top favorites. You know, of course, that always changes. The biggest reason why it's in my top favorites is, one, I do have a little bit of Viking history, so if you haven't watched the video on this knife, please do. Some fun information and some laughs for the intro of that video, so please watch that. And so good times. But yeah, it's a gorgeous knife. S45 VN steel. It's the only blade that I have in that steel, again, at this point. And I just love it. Great fit and finish materials. It is buttery smooth. I mean, buttery smooth for being on washers, not on bearings. It just, can't say enough amazing things about that knife. Alright. Next one, and again, this is just how I'm feeling today, this week, this month. The Spyderco Capara compression lock. Love this knife. It is a beautiful everyday carry. Very useful blade shape. Excellent ergos. Can choke up on it nicely, comfortably. Deep carry pocket clip, compliments of Lynch Northwest, and yeah, compression lock. Love the compression lock. Scale swap for some red micarta, and I just really enjoy having and using and carrying that knife. It's an excellent knife. The next one would be the Relative. Yep, the Relative in all its glory. Another amazing knife. If the camera would focus. There we go. Yes, love the Relative. EMP EDC hitting home runs out of the park. Grand slams all the time with everything that they do. Yes, love the Relative. The next one, and again, it kind of just because it's a little more recent to the collection, is the Artisan Accelerator. This is a beefy, badass knife. It's a big boy. It is not small at all by any means. Wonderful ergos. Weight balance is nice. I mean, it's a little forward heavy again because it's just got that monster of a blade. Very neat blade shape. Quite a bit of belly here as you come up to the tip, but still an awesome knife. An interesting design with the way the handle goes down to the back end butt of it shrinking down, and that big old groove for your pinky. It really forces hand placements because of the way the scales, the handle is shaped and designed. Not for everybody, totally get that. I've been that way with a lot of knives, but when you rock back on it, it really keeps your hand in that place, and you can really thwack the crap out of anything and use this sucker as one heck of a chopper, if need be. And it's in their proprietary AR RPM 9 steel, wonderful powdered stainless steel. Does a great job, and yeah, it's just a fun one. It's a new one for me, and it's a fun one right now, so really enjoying it. The fifth one on my top 5 favorites right now, surprisingly, it's a petrified fish. And I say surprisingly because it's really technically only got one opening method, and that's the front flipper, which is not big with me normally. I prefer my front flippers to have an easier secondary deployment method, but I do like the cleanness of it. And the biggest reason why this guy is in my top 5 is the overall profile of the knife. Love the overall profile, but this blade, this Warncliffe chopped off reverse Tonto-esque blade is hollow ground, and it is a gloriously well done hollow ground. I really like how thin behind the edge this guy is, and it's got a nice tip to it. Great for EDCing, cutting. It's got this huge chunk cutout, window type cutout, that really gives you more than ample room for your pointer finger to choke up there and really get onto the blade. Great jimping. It's spined. It's a spine or crowned spined blade. Sorry, rounded off nicely. Beautiful, excellent. I love the wood. Just really having a fun time with this knife. It is not a deep carry pocket clip. Not all clips need to be deep carry, as much as we do enjoy them to be. It goes really well in and out of the pocket. Crowned back spacer there as well that just barely rises up above the wood scales. It's a beautiful, classy-esque everyday carry, and just love that hollow ground. And because of that, I can reverse flick the hollow grind blade. So yeah, love this. Those are my top 5. Wonderful top 5 today. Let's go ahead, because we're going to cover my top 5 largest folders, which happen to include 2 of these. So the Spartan Harsey and the Accelerator. I am starting to get, for me, for the longest time, my sweet spot, my favorite EDC folders blade length was in that 2.8 to 3.3 blade length. That was, for me, for the longest time, my sweet spot. And still kind of, sort of, so very much is. But I've recently, more recently, in the last 3 to 4 months, gravitated towards your larger folders. Longer blades. So leaning more towards that 3.5 to 4.25 inch blade length is really what's tickling my fancy these days. So let me see if I can squeeze all these in frame for the most part. So these are your locking folders. You see there's 4 of them, because my 5th is this big bad boy that takes up the whole frame. So yeah, I love this thing. This is the Rough Rider Giant Trapper with, you know, freaking almost 8-inch blades on them too. 8-inch blades on them. This is just so much fun. They did it for like their 25th anniversary, and it's just a cool folder. It's got some class to it at the same time, just, you know, ridiculously, you know, oversized. It's a joy. It's a joy. It's a fun to pull this guy out, and, you know, look at that file work. Gotta love that file work. That's just, you know, pretty beautiful file work. So this is a big thing. This is a big knife, big folder. But here's the Spartan Harsey. Here's the Beyond EDC, I believe, makes the Night Horse here, and funny, that's not the original blade shape on them. Mine got shaved down because I had way too much fun goofing around throwing this guy at my fence and sticking him over and over. Just like the ergos of it and the weight balance of it was like I could throw this thing all day long, accurately and precisely and consistently sticking it. This, for a folder, it was a good thrower, and I had too much fun and ended up breaking off the tip, the pointy tip. So now it's got a slightly different blade profile, and it's just a hair shorter than it normally is, what you would get it if you bought one today yourself. But yeah, it's a big knife. It's a big folder. It has a good sized blade on it. And then of course the accelerator, nice big blade on that guy. And then a little bit smaller of a blade, but still, and I would say more so because of the way the handle is shaped and designed, it really makes this a bigger knife. This is the Damn Designs Basilisk. This is the all black version. Yeah, it's on the larger size as far as folders go. At least in my collection, it is for in the pocket. So yeah, that makes my top 5 largest folders in my collection. So now let's get these all out of the way. We're gonna do, I guess we'll go to the smallest then. We'll go from big to small. Just like that. You're gonna see a definite size comparison here. So let's start off with the Spyderco Dragonfly 2. That one's in the H1 steel. That's my beach knife. And then the Civivi Baby Banter, the little baby Banter. And I mean, they're smaller knives, but they're not all that super small. Then I have a lockback here. This is the made by Castillo. It's Italian. This is the Listo, little friend. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is what or little companion, little friend. I believe is what that translates to. Nice little lock back, almost a mid lock back. Again, file work. That's one thing that I really like about this knife is the red burlap micarta with file work all the way down the spine with the jimping. Beautiful little EDC lock back, more traditional style. So. And then these are a dime a dozen. I probably own about a half a dozen of these guys. These are, total classic SD classics with these things. I've got one on my key rings and a couple fun ones floating around the house because Smoky Mountain Knife Works likes to do lots of cool little patterns on them. So yeah, great little keychain knife. Good knife to have. Floating around. So there's that guy. They're on the small size, right? Yep. And then here is the crown jewel. This guy I picked up, I believe you can get him at Bass Pro Shop, but I believe I got this one mine from at a Cabela's, excuse me. So yeah, the camera would focus. There we go. Ta-da! Yeah. So doesn't really have a name, but who the hell knows who made it? But this guy is tiny. So yeah, just a little fun one. Just a little fun one, just for shits and giggles, right? But yeah, look how small he is. Look how small he is. Ooh, there went the camera. There we go. Now you can see all of them together. Yeah. So tiny, small knives. Those are my 5 of my smallest in my collection. Again, mostly, and I don't have but a few more that are right about the same size as the Baby Banter and that Spyderco Dragonfly too. Most of my knives are in that 2 3/4 to 3 and 0.3 inch blade shape. So here is the ones that I enjoy the least. I can't say that I mean, if I had knives in my collection that I hated, that I really did not like at all, they wouldn't be in my collection anymore. I would have gotten rid of them. So here's some that are some of my least favorites for a few particular reasons. I still enjoy them. I still carry them, but just they're the least in the bunch. So first one is the CRKT Trask. I got him because I wanted to at least own something that has that deadbolt lock because it's a very interesting lock, and it was kind of innovative design. And at the time, just this was the one that I ended up just picking up. And I got a deal on it when I got it. I don't like, and it's mostly because of the design of the lock. It's very wide. It's very thick in the handle. I like the blade shape, but just all together, I mean, if there's one company that knows how to take something beautiful, a beautiful design, and screw it all up in production and final fit and finish, it's CRKT. They just they do it like they don't care. Like everything's just an afterthought when it comes down to actually cranking out a product. The next one, which just got featured in my countdown to Blade Show, but here's the Buck. What's the Avant? No, what's the name of this knife? I forget. I'm sorry. Kill me. Smack me up. Don't kill me. Smack me upside the head for brain farting on the name of this knife. But as I pointed out, what I don't like about it is, other than the fact that it's on the smaller side, and I favor ones that are a little, bigger in the hand, the flipper tab. The flipper tab, I cannot, without having to put some wrist without throwing some effort into it, I cannot get that blade out at a standstill. There's just, and it's not like I have a weak finger, like light switcher, flick, no. It's just that the design of the tab, the flipper tab, is not enough without adding a little oomph to it. So, yeah, that is the downfall of this one. So other than that, it's a great small knife. It's a great 5th pocket knife. The next one is the K-Bar. I forget what the name of this thing is. But it's their respective answer to the Buck 110. It's their version of the Buck 110. So yeah, I mean, it does reminisce a lot of similarities of a Buck 110, but it is nowhere near what a Buck 110 is. They did throw D2 steel on this guy, so that's not, you know, too terrible. But I don't like the finish. I don't like the finish on that's been put on the blade. It looks fine on the handles, but I just don't like that color. It looks very cheap to me. And for lockback, it's a very soft lockback. It's weak. Nowhere near what a Buck 110 is. And then, which does make it easier to roll out there with the thumb studs. I will give it that. But then the third awful thing that they did was the way they did the clip. For one, it's tip down carry instead of tip up, so that's like a no-go for a lot of people. And it's a very, like, when you put this clip in the pocket, that's a lot coming out the top. That's a lot sticking up out of the pocket. A lot. Want me to say it one more time? A lot. So yeah, they did a really crap job on the clip. Sorry. So those are the handfuls of things that I don't like about that knife. The next one is, what do you know, another CRKT. I don't have too many CRKTs in my collection for the reasons that I pointed out. With the Trask is also the reason for this guy. I forget what is the name of this. The Piet, P-I-E-T, or Pite, however you say it, however you want to pronounce it. It's a good knife. It's a solid knife for what it is, for what you're getting. The design, the ergos are pretty good. The lockup is not the greatest. That's where it really falls short, is the fact that I found myself constantly bending and working on the liner lock bar so that it would have a more solid lockup, and it just easily wanted to bend right back and fail on me all the time. So yeah, for that reason, primarily, almost in itself, is why I don't like carrying this knife very often, is because of that lock bar being not a very good locking up lock bar. It doesn't want to lock. No lock pick needed. It wants to fold in on its own with no engagement. So yeah, that's why that one's kind of become a no-go for me almost always. But other than that, I mean, it's a good knife, good ergos, good blade shape, good size to it for, you know, a smaller, you know, 5th pocket carry. But yeah. Alright, last but not least, the SOG, what the Ultra Attack, whatever this silly thing is. Yeah, the Ultra CITI. Yeah. So this is a fantastic money clip with a sharpened blade. And that's about all there is to it. It's got VG10 steel, which is not terrible, and they did some kind of coating finish on the blade, but that I do keep, despite the little thin coat of oil that I put on it and storing it in a good place. Yet I still get little specks and spots of surface rust on the blade, and that's kind of disappointing. It's carbon fiber handle, and boy is it super flat, super thin. It is thin, thin, thin. So yeah, it's a money holder. And the lock mechanism is kind of like your access bar lock, but it's only on one side. On the clip side, it's totally flat, so that your bills lay flat. It's a money clip, right? That's why the pocket clip is so wide and large and flat, very flat. It's because they want you to use it as a money clip, right? Maybe, I don't know. Or maybe it could just be the fact that they just wanted this clip to be as obnoxiously large as possible so that they could put their SOG on there as loud and obnoxiously possible, right? That's kind of, a trademark of SOG, of SOG knives, is that they love their branding. They're all about their branding. So yeah, that's kind of the one thing, the couple little things that makes this guy really not that great of a knife for me. Is there's no ambidextrousness. I'm not going to try to say that again. To the lock, the VG10 has some rusting issues, which is Spyderco never had rusting issues with their VG10. And it's just insanely thin with that god-awful branding on the pocket clip. So, it does work excellent for keeping together your microfiber cloths, and as a money clip, with just an extra spare black backup blade. So that's why I have it. They are way overpriced if you're paying full price for them. I somehow luckily found this thing on a clearance price tag of a whopping $14 and some change, and at that price point it was worth picking it up. But I can't imagine paying $60, $70, $80 for this thing. To me, that for what it is, it wasn't worth that many dollars. For me. So, those are my least favorite 5. So that's my 5 on 5 for Cinco de Mayo. Let's see what yours are, or list them in the comments if you didn't feel like doing a video. If you watched this whole thing, thank you. You're crazy or drunk, I don't know, but peace out, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.